Don't come over here. Seven's got the upper hand now. So I can't believe it, but it's been 30 years since Seven came out. Well, almost. And I had the great pleasure to watch the re-release in IMAX with a new 4K restoration. And if you hadn't already guessed, yes, this is one of the greatest thrillers of all time. Now, putting on our 2025 lens and looking 30 years in the past, it's amazing how influential this film is on film, on pop culture. There's before Seven and there's after Seven. I'm not going into plot details on here. You know, it's a serial killer who's committing murders based on the seven deadly sins. Now, in the popular zeitgeist, this movie is seen as intense and shocking and gory and explicit, but it is not that. And I think the reason this film endures is because it is a sobering procedural first and a high concept thriller second. We all know the iconic imagery from this film, the gluttony crime scene, the horrific sloth sequence, even the absolutely devastating lust interrogation. For a while, Seven was one of the few films I had trouble rewatching, largely because this lust sequence, which really just brings you down the lowest you can go. It is horrific. There's a great visual detail with a Polaroid picture here. You'll know it when you see it, that is withheld from the audience until later. And once we see it, it completes the visual picture for us. And that's really the genius of this film, is David Fincher allows visual ideas to carry the story. Even though, you know, it's a procedural, there's a lot of shoe leather dialogue and a lot of exposition and a lot of philosophical back and forth between Pitt and Morgan Freeman's characters. But you never lose track of what it's about because there's always something visually astonishing within every frame from scene to scene. Darius Konji shot this, amazing cinematographer. It really kind of set the template for thrillers going forward. It's not just dark and moody, but it's the texture to it. It's the grain structure in the film. And I think what Hollywood took from Seven are all the wrong lessons. Only a few years later, we got the rise of the torture porn horror thriller genre, which wanted to kind of up the intensity of graphic violence. Saw is the best example, and actually the first Saw isn't as violent as all the others. It's very reminiscent of Seven, in which you only see aftermath, in which you fill in the gaps of the violence. But you had trash thrillers like Taking Lives with Angelina Jolie, Suspect Zero from the guy who did Shadow of a Vampire. Shout out to my Nosferatu review. And these just wanted aesthetic. They wanted aesthetic without doing the work. And there's so much character work here. It's not just wizened cop about to retire and brash rookie. That's the foundation. The really incredible scenes where they bond. And remember, this story only takes place over 7 days. That is a lot to get into a screenplay of this story where you're just telling it for 7 days. So when Freeman comes over to Pitt's house for dinner and he bonds with Gwyneth Paltrow, his wife, and then they're talking over the case while she's asleep and she wakes up and they're not there because they're out hitting the pavement again. Or, of course, the incredible diner scene between Freeman and Paltrow, where she is the collateral damage of this awful, you know, Dante-esque city. Like they're in the circles of hell here. And Freeman's our, you know, sympathetic everyman. We understand him. He's comforting, but he's realistic and he's cynical now. And then after the Lust murder, there's another terrific scene between Pitt and Freeman at a bar. They're decompressing, and Pitt calls him out for his cynicism. He's saying, "Hey, I'm not always wrong here. I see how you are. I see what this job's done to you, and I disagree with it." And all those scenes plant the groundwork for the end. The end is incredibly infamous, but it is character based. As much as we don't want things to go in the bummer direction they're going to go, it's the right call for the story. And I think it's what has allowed this film to endure. So after 30 years, my appreciation for Seven has actually grown. I also forgot to mention the incredible chase scene in the middle, which utilizes the LA locations. This is an LA movie that doesn't look like LA. It's a nameless city, like your The Crow, like your Dark City, and it uses atmosphere, rain, the grime and dirt of a city, the traffic and the population of it, to really put the squeeze on these characters as they're going after their man. I have to say, my opinion of the movie has only evolved over the years. I give Seven a 5 out of 5. It is basically a perfect mystery thriller. Let me know what you think. If you like this review, like and subscribe below. And stay here for more reviews.